Let the end of the year top 10 lists begin. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another videos. Today I'm going through my top 10 personal favorite TV shows of 2023. Now, I watched way more movies than television this year, but I still watched a double-digit number of TV shows this year, so I'm going to give you guys my favorites that I've watched. But before I do, let me know your favorite TV shows from the year in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. Alright, so kickstarting this list at number 10 is going to be You Season 4. Now, this season was split into two parts, and to me, it is probably one of the weaker seasons of You, but it does have a twist in the second volume or part of the show that kind of recontextualizes every piece of information we've been receiving up to that point. Made me appreciate it a little bit more. So because of that, I will give it its due. I just enjoy watching Penn Badgley so much in this role and his commitment to Joe Goldberg. This man continues to slip deeper and deeper from sanity in each season, and I don't know how he's going to get out of all this alive in the final season of You, whenever that does end up coming out. But I would say Season 4 Part 1, pretty unmemorable. You go and watch Season 4 Part 2 though, and like I said, there's a big reveal that makes you go, ah! It's almost like having a light bulb moment. You pair that with just Penn Badgley's narration of his character Joe, getting himself into some more high-stakes, wild scenarios, and it's entertaining enough. It's honestly just barely squeaking into this list, because there weren't a ton of amazing TV shows that I watched this year when compared to 2022, but it sneaks in on this list. Moving on to number 9 though, I've got Ahsoka. Now, I enjoyed this show a lot more when I initially watched it. The more I've sat with it, it kind of soured on me ever so slightly, but I have to commend it for its highlight moments, those being the return of Thrawn, the return of Ezra. It had the Star Wars Rebels feel to it, and that's just such a pleasant feeling. The thing I enjoy about Star Wars Rebels is that it's carefree Star Wars with a new, fresh group of characters, and this show embodies that. It was awesome to see Sabine and Ezra back in action together. Thrawn in live action I thought was done really well. He continued to have that presence on screen where any line of dialogue he says, you're kind of listening more intently than you might normally be. And of course, we got Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker here with some live-action Clone Wars scenes. So as a Star Wars fan, it gave us those moments that got you hyped and gave you chills, but at the same time, structurally speaking, it's a far from perfect show that feels a little anticlimactic in the end. It's almost like the whole purpose of the show was to set up another season, but everyone's character arcs and development in this first season feel incomplete in a way, and that's unfortunate. I do think they're going to do a season 2. It hasn't been like officially announced or greenlit yet, but I would think that it's very necessary, or else this is just bleeding into the Mandoverse movie that may or may not even happen. Star Wars is a bit of a mess right now, but I'll take what they gave us with Anakin Skywalker, with seeing Rebels characters back in action. This was fun Star Wars, above all else. Was it stupid and dumb at times? Yeah. Did it make sense always? Not really. But it was fun, enjoyable Star Wars. At number 8 on my list is Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. That's right, I watched Bridgerton for the first time ever this year. My girlfriend got surgery, and while she was in recovery, I said, I'll watch Bridgerton with you finally. So we watched seasons 1 and 2, and then we watched this mini-series about Queen Charlotte, and this was a really well-done expansion of the Bridgerton universe. It gave us way more depth to Queen Charlotte herself, but it also had this romance at the heart of it that was really sweet. And over the course of the season, you grew to love the main characters. It also had some heartbreaking moments, like one in particular. There's a shot, if you've watched this show, of someone dancing, and then it fades to the future, and that will just instantly get the tears flowing, and you will feel just devastated for this character. It was nice to dip our toes back in the Bridgerton universe in a spin-off and kind of fill the void as we wait for Bridgerton Season 3 in 2024. But for me, I got to watch Bridgerton 1 and 2, and then this immediately after. So it kind of tied a nice bow on Seasons 1 and 2, and is a great little spin-off with some scenes that actually take place in the future. This is kind of the way to go with spin-offs, where you have a flashback storyline, but then a few seeds planted for what's to come in a future season in the present-day timeline. I didn't think I would like Bridgerton at all, but I ended up enjoying it quite a bit. At number 7 on my list is going to be Ted Lasso Season 3, the final season of the Apple TV Plus show. Ted Lasso is the most feel-good television show I may have ever watched. It is about Ted Lasso, played by Jason Sudeikis, who becomes the football coach, the soccer coach, as we say here in America, of AFC Richmond, and over the course of 3 seasons, you grow to love this man and his crazy stories and life lessons that he's trying to teach players. Deep down, though, he's got his own mental health struggles, and the show explores that through and through, This season, while it does dip in quality when compared to the other two, ends on such a high positive note that overshadows everything else in the show to me. It left me feeling happy, heartwarmed, with a big smile on my face, and this show's always felt like someone's giving you a big hug as you watch through it, and that's how I felt season 3 ultimately ended. I'm not a fan of how they treated certain characters. Certain characters like Keely almost didn't have as crucial of a role here, and I didn't love the way they took her character, but by the end, I was able to appreciate everything. We got more Roy, and Jamie Tart was the MVP of this season. Talk about character development from season 1 to 3. Jamie Tart might have the best in the entire show. Everyone got their moment to shine, everyone had a fitting conclusion, and we ended in a very happy place. I'm sure they'll do some sort of spin-off, but without Jason Sudeikis as Ted Lasso, it might not hit the same. At number 6 on my list, I've got Outer Banks Season 3. P4L, baby. Outer Banks is a blast. Anytime I watch this show, I want it to be summertime, and I kind of equate it to when I'm driving around at like 8 o'clock at night in the summer. The sun's starting to set. You've got the purple, pinkish blue sky. The vibe I get when I'm driving around in my car listening to some nostalgic music and looking at the beautiful imagery of just nature, that's the feeling I get when I watch Outer Banks. It's an awesome hangout show. You've got treasure hunting, and season 3 is by far the biggest in scale. But I just really dig the camaraderie between our main group of pogues. Each season's getting wilder with the relationship drama and just Topper literally being an arson. Like, what the hell's going on there? It sounds insane if you guys haven't seen Outer Banks, but I just dig it. It's like teen drama at its finest. I am so invested in this world and just the absurdity of it all that I will watch this show to the end of the line. I'm a pogue for life. I cannot wait for season 4. They're going after Blackbeard's ship, it seems. Hell yes to that. At number 5 on my list is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I've only seen the first 4 episodes. I have a review of them, which you guys can check out linked up above, but I really dig what they're providing us so far. I am not a diehard Percy Jackson fan. I like to preface things because I know there are diehard book fans, and I just want to let you guys know my experience. I've read the first book years ago, and I've seen the 2 movies. Sea of Monsters was awful. I thought The Lightning Thief was an enjoyable enough movie growing up. But from what I've seen, I'm so invested in this world. I buy into the fact that there are demigods and these mythical creatures running around. There's a sense of adventure early on, and like I've said, I equate it to the early Harry Potter films, at least to me, where you've got this trio of characters who are sent on this almost magical adventure, and you can feel like this could be something special in a few years. By the time we get to season 3, 4, 5, this could be that global phenomenon. The casting's perfect across the board. If I watched this when I was like 10, I would be over the moon in love with it, and I still really dig what they're providing. It's well acted, perfectly cast. I think Walker Scobell is a star in the making. He embodies what Percy Jackson should be through the 4 episodes that I've seen. I'm very curious and intrigued to see how they continue on and end the season. So it's safe to say I'm hooked on Percy Jackson, and I'm actually rereading the first book because of this show, so that's why it lands at number 5 for me. At number 4 on my list is the conclusion to another show, Barry Season 4. Barry is one of the most slept on shows out there right now. It's not really talked about a lot, but for those who have watched Barry, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is Bill Hader at his best as a writer, director, but most importantly, as a dramatic actor. The show's a dark comedy through and through. Like, the earlier seasons definitely have more darkly comedic bits, but season 4 is the darkest this season goes in terms of being a serious drama, and the show has the ultimate payoff. I won't say what happens, but it does end on a somber note that makes you sit there in the darkness as the credits roll and almost rethink your life in a way. It's a very heavy-hitting drama, to say the least, but the progression of Barry as a character over 4 seasons is masterfully done. The final season was so poetic, I was worried about if they could stick the landing with it, and they damn sure did. It's an ending that I think is very haunting in a way. I don't want to spoil it, of course, but at the same time, beautiful. My number 3 is going to be Loki Season 2. For those MCU deniers out there who haven't watched Loki, you gotta watch it, because I'm not saying this makes up for all the mistakes the franchise has made, but it is high-quality television when compared to the other MCU Disney Plus shows. Like Loki, both Seasons 1 and Season 2, stand alone as great dramatic television. Not even with the Marvel brand. You could just show this to somebody, I feel, and they would thoroughly enjoy it. Now, they would be a little confused in terms of continuity and connection to the films and the overall cinematic universe, but it is structured like a great television drama, a 2-season arc, and Loki has one of the best turnarounds in the MCU. He's a character who I was never really crazy about, but this show made me fully appreciate him, and what they did with him in Season 2, I mean, it's some of the best writing in the MCU in terms of character work, without question. Also, you've got Owen Wilson as Mobius here. I've always loved the man, and to me, he is the shining light of this show as Mobius. He's not only funny and charismatic, but he has a beautiful arc as well within the TVA as he sort of realizes over the course of the show, like, he's kind of denying the whole show, oh, I don't have a past life, the TVA is my life, the TVA is my life. And he has a beautiful little turnaround in the show as well. Season 2 adds Kiwi Kwan. You've obviously got more exploration of Kang, but it handles Kang in a way that can almost write him out of the MCU in and of itself. If you've seen this season of TV, Season 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. So it was cleverly done. The score for Season 2 is one of my favorite pieces of music composed in the year 2023. Chillingly good stuff. I go back and watch the ending of Loki Season 2 a lot just to feel something, because this is truly epic television that's dramatic. The stakes are never higher, and you feel that through and through. Loki Season 2 is special in my opinion. Seasons 1 and 2 are, but you take Season 2 on its own, great TV and some of my favorite MCU content at the end of the day. My runner-up is The Last of Us, which started airing almost an entire calendar year ago in January of 2023. It's about to be January of 2024, where'd all the time go? But I actually played both The Last of Us 1 and Part 2 on PS5 prior to the show dropping, just so that I could get really well versed in this world. And this is how you do a video game to television adaptation. It maintained the key traits of the game that were essential, but it also had some episodes that would go off and tell their own stories to add depth to characters who we didn't know much about in the game. The Bill and Frank episode is a standout. I know it's divisive online, but it's a gut-wrenchingly beautiful love story that unfolds and makes you feel something for characters who were otherwise sort of throwaway in the game, essentially, right? And then you've got the performances from Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, some of the best I've seen in television all year. Episode 7 is a standout. I liked episode 5 quite a bit. Every single episode of this show is a hit, but all around, it's dramatic television at its best. HBO took this thing on and they did it perfectly. I can't wait to see Season 2 and how they adapt the second game, because that's a very controversial game. I won't say anything that happens in it, but if you guys know, you know. I really loved what they did with Last of Us Season 1, and I'm due for a rewatch of that soon. We just got so much good television in the world that it's hard to rewatch all my favorite shows all the time, because I want to rewatch Cobra Kai and Stranger Things right now. I don't know, it's tough, and then I want to watch new things, but The Last of Us is my runner-up. But taking the top spot, my favorite TV show from 2023, The Bear Season 2. I watched Season 1 when it came out in the summer of 2022, and it was a pleasant surprise to get this second season so quickly after the first season, and Season 2 of The Bear is arguably better than the first. Jeremy Allen White doesn't miss a beat. Eben Moss-Backrack as Richie is the standout character here, though. They give him so much more depth and flesh him out. You got the Feast of the Seven Fishes episode where John Bernthal's there, Bob Odenkirk, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Mulaney. It is a stacked cast in one singular episode, and that portrays a dysfunctional family around the holidays better than anything I may have ever seen. And then Forks might be my favorite episode of TV all year, where Richie has like this full-on turnaround in his life and he realizes, I want to be good at this. I want to take my life seriously. And that is like the moment where Richie just almost became like a fan favorite in a way. Also, when he's listening to Love Story by Taylor Swift while driving, so relatable. The show continues to explore mental health struggles and dealing with anxiety and depression. The high-stress nature of the kitchen is back at it again, but every character from Season 1 almost has their own episode that explores their life and gives them more of a backstory, so that when we reach the finale, you can almost relate to everyone more so than ever before. To me, this is one of the best written shows on TV right now, and I can't get enough of it. They're speculating that Season 3 might actually come out by the end of 2024, so hell yes to that if true. But The Bear Season 2 takes the top spot as my favorite TV show of 2023. But that's going to do it for my top 10 shows of the year. Let me know yours in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help me reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And go show some love to the Unusual Couple podcast for weekly episodes with myself and my girlfriend Cam. But that's going to do it. Stay tuned for my top 10 favorite movies of the year coming tomorrow. But until then, I'll see you guys later.